In the midst of a 13-level storm, I remember the sound first. Metal against wind. The car trembling like it knew before I did. Rain lashed the windows so hard it blurred the world into streaks of gray. And then he said it. Get out. Now. Not shouted. Not panicked. Just urgent. Annoyed. As if I were an inconvenience. I thought he was joking. Until he leaned across me, unlatched my seatbelt, and pulled the door open. A wall of storm punched me in the face. Please, he snapped. She's crowning. I need to get her to the hospital. His mistress. His unborn child. Their emergency, my eviction. Before I could speak, he shoved. My palm slid along the wet doorframe, and then the ground caught me. His tires screamed. Red taillights slicing the storm as he sped away. I lay there for a second, soaked, shaking, listening to the receding hum of the engine. That was the moment something inside me, something naive and loyal, finally died. But the storm wasn't the beginning. Not really. The beginning was quiet. Years earlier, I met him in the calmest season of my life. He had that easy smile that made waiters linger and my friends nudge me. He was steady, ambitious, promising me a future bright enough to burn. I believed him. God, I believed everything. We built a home, rituals, habits, the kind that make you think your life is anchored. And then the shifts began, small, almost invisible. He stopped texting me goodnight when he traveled. He guarded his phone like it was a wounded animal. He smelled of perfume I didn't own. And he stopped looking at me with the warmth that once made strangers assume we were newlyweds. I asked nothing. Not because I was blind, but because I was observing. Then came the undeniable proof. A notification lighting up his screen when he showered. Can't wait to meet our baby with you. Hurry back. A photo followed. Her face tucked in his neck. His smile wider than any he gave me. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I just inhaled and exhaled. Slowly. Because that was the moment I shifted from wife to strategist. People underestimate quiet women. They think silence means weakness. But silence is where plans are born. First, I gathered everything. Bank records, property deeds, hidden transactions dripping toward her like breadcrumbs. The second apartment he paid for. The nursery he furnished. The private doctor appointments he thought were secrets. Then I called a lawyer. Not a gentle one. A woman with a reputation sharp enough to draw blood. I learned the laws, memorized loopholes, calculated numbers until they rearranged themselves into routes of escape and retribution. I moved money he didn't know was mine. I filed documents in places he'd never look. I secured evidence like precious jewels. And then I waited. I didn't confront him. Confrontation gives people time to prepare. I wanted impact, the kind that comes without warning. The storm only accelerated the timeline. After he abandoned me on the roadside, I pulled myself to my feet. The wind clawed at me, but clarity steadied me more than dry ground ever could. I walked. 1 mile. 2. Maybe more. Time felt elastic, stretched thin by adrenaline and betrayal. By the time I reached the main road, headlights cut through the rain. The car slowed. The stranger leaned out. "Ma'am, do you need help?" I did, but not the kind he meant. "Could you drop me at St. Vincent's Hospital?" Of course. Storm or not, my plan was already in motion. I simply had to be present for the finale. He found me 30 minutes later, soaked, mud-streaked, sitting calmly in the hospital lobby. His face twisted when he saw me. Guilt, shock, fear. They all fought for space. "Jesus, what happened to you?" he whispered. "I walked," I said. His mouth opened, but before he could shape an apology, a nurse hurried over. "Sir, your partner is asking for you." Partner, not wife. The word hit him like a slap he pretended not to feel. He glanced at me, torn between duty and shame. I offered him a small, controlled smile. "Go. She needs you." He went. Of course he did. While he hovered in the delivery room, I met with the officer I'd asked to come. Then the hospital administrator. Then the lawyer who arrived with 2 folders, one for him, one for her. Timing is everything. They wheeled him out an hour later, pale, trembling, still in his surgical gown. I approached slowly, each step deliberate. What are you doing here?" he stammered. I handed him the envelope. Inside, divorce papers, asset freezes, evidence of infidelity, and documentation proving that every property, except the one he bought for her, was legally secured under my name. "You lost the house?" he choked. "And the cars? And the savings?" "All legal," I said softly. "All signed. All filed." His knees nearly buckled. A nurse rushed out next. "Sir, the baby is in the NICU. There are complications. And, the billing information you provided is invalid." He stared at me then, wide-eyed, animal-like, realizing the truth. I hadn't destroyed him. He had destroyed himself. I had simply removed the cushions. "I trusted you," he whispered. "So did I." He opened his mouth again, but no sound came out. He looked smaller than I'd ever seen him. Fragile. Breakable. It wasn't satisfying. It was liberating. I walked out of that hospital without looking back. The storm had calmed by then, though puddles still shimmered with the wreckage of the night. People think revenge is fire, but mine felt like water, cold, cleansing, patient. He shoved me into a storm. I walked out with a life that no longer included him. And in the quiet that followed, I realized something. Some betrayals break you. Mine rebuilt me,